Okay, the second concept in chapter 4 is binomial probability distribution. So this word binomial, you can tell that it's a binomial problem if you see the word binomial in it. And the first 4 problems, they didn't have the word binomial in them. Those were just that whole PX column. Those are just numbers I made up from anywhere. But binomial ones have to follow a certain pattern. And because they have to follow a certain pattern, my calculator already knows what that pattern is. If you say it's binomial, the pattern of that second column is already totally predetermined. What you do have to tell your calculator is you have to tell it how many times you tried, what was your probability of success, and how many successes did you have. So if, again, we're going to blue marbles or something, if you try to pick out, you try 4 times to pick out a blue marble, then there's going to be some chance that you're going to get that right. Okay, so if you know the chance, if you know that there's like 1 blue marble out of like 100 marbles in there, you have like a 1% chance of being successful at it. But you try it over and over and over again. You keep trying to do it. And the number of successes, if I do it like 50 times, how many times did I get a blue marble when I tried that? Okay, so that would be, all right, where are these letters? N comes from the number of times you try. P is probability of success. Q is the probability of failure. And failure is the opposite of success. So if you had like a 25% chance of getting it right, that means you had a 75% chance of failing. If you had a 60% chance of getting it right, you have a 40% chance of failing, and so on. They always match up. They're together, the P and the Q, it adds up to like 100%. So if P is 0.28, then Q would be, what is that, 0.72, because 0.28 plus 0.72 equals 1. Okay, so that's what Q is. Now, when you see these problems, like problems number 5 and 6 on the homework, it just comes right out and it says, here's N, here's P, here's X. Go ahead and get this number, this percent, okay? This PX from like the second column, P of X. And so I need to be able to put this into my calculator. And on my calculator, it's over here, right above the word vars. It's like a second function. It says distribution. Okay, it's not under stat. Almost everything in this class is under stat, but this is under distribution. So you hit the second function button, and then when you go over there to vars, you see the word distribution. And there's like a whole bunch of choices. You scroll through all the choices. Eventually, it's like the 10th choice down on my calculator. See binompdf. Now, my calculator doesn't do anything else after that. It's just sitting there waiting with binompdf and a parenthesis on it. Some people's calculators, they come right out and start asking them questions. Number of trials. So, well, if you're reading the problem, you know that if it comes right out and says, what's your number of trials? And I'm reading the problem, and the problem says you're going to try 7 times, then yeah, that's what you would just answer. Oh, well, the problem said N is 7. Mine doesn't say that, so I would just have to put 7 into the first spot here. And then I have to find the comma button on my calculator, which is a whole separate button all by itself, and I put that in. And then if your calculator comes out and asks you a question, it'll ask you for probability of success. So if it was a 25% chance of success, I have to type that in, 0.25, comma. But if your calculator is just asking you to choose a question, just answer the question, 0.25. And then it comes out and it asks you for the number of successes. Okay, and if I'm wondering about if I had just 1 success, 1 blue marble, then I'd have to comma 1. Again, if your calculator is asking you the questions, you just answer the questions, and you just kind of hit enter until it actually gives you something. Okay, once you get all the numbers in there, hit enter. And you might have to hit enter a second time just to let it know you're serious. But that's how you do these problems. Okay, so how you do problems number 5 and 6 on the homework is you go into binompdf, and then you either answer their questions or you put them in with the commas in between them, hit enter, and it works. Now questions number 7 and 8, it never comes right out and says X. it just like quits. It tells you N and P and it never says X. And the reason why is, so this is like number 7. The reason why is because if I put binompdf into my calculator, and then I just put in 7, 0.45, and I forget to answer that last question, okay? I never come right out and say what X is. I just answer just 2 out of the 3 questions, and then I just hit enter. Now, ordinarily, the calculator goes, oh, you didn't answer all the questions, I'm not going to help you. But in this case, the calculator instead actually gives you all the answers. Okay, so binompdf 7, 0.45, enter. My calculator, right underneath that, it starts off with this curly bracket here, and then it says 0.015 something, 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 and then suddenly it starts in with 0.0. I can't see the next answer because it's run off the screen, so it says like ... But if I use these little arrow keys, like I'm using some sort of DVD player, okay, I can arrow sideways. And when I arrow sideways, it starts to show me more of that line, like basically wants to put all 7 answers on one line, and it didn't have enough room to squeeze them all onto one line of calculator, so it just kept writing, and you got to arrow sideways to see the rest of it. So this 0.015, and the next number I see after I've arrowed sideways a bit, it says 0.087. Arrow sideways some more, it says 0.214. Arrow sideways some more, it says 0.29, I'm rounding, 0.292. Arrow some more, it says 0.23, I'll round up, 0.239. And then I see 0.117. 0.032, and 0.004. And that's like it. Eventually it closes the curly bracket. It gives me 8 numbers for answers. Instead of going, I don't know how to do this, it actually gives me 8 answers. And 7 and 8 ask you to make one of these XPX little charts, and you take all your answers. All I got to do is get the answers off the calculator and put them into this column. It gives me 8 answers because I have to start. I don't start with 1. I start with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 different answers. And that's how I would fill in. So question 7 and 8, it says, basically, use that binompdf button to make yourself a chart. Okay.